But another couple of things here, just before we move into the analysis of the games, is too quick from this same article. He says that you call the person asking the question here says, you call Sevens a friendly entry point into rugby. Given the success of USA, Kenya, Spain and Russia teams, could it be rugby's gateway to the rest of the world? His response is, Sevens has hit a commercial brick wall. It's taken years to get a 10-venue circuit, a hell of an achievement with very strong sponsorship and generally strong crowds, but it loses money at an incredibly as it's incredibly expensive. Sevens is so demanding you need recovery, but you can't show 3 days on TV and you can't just show the finals. That's not enough content. A lot of clever people are trying to figure out a way to make a television product out of the Sevens. So basically, I think a lot of teams are asking, well, he says a lot of unions are asking, why are we doing this? For a developing nation, it's much cheaper, as all you do is get a squad together. All the other costs are paid for you. But in regards to the bigger teams, it's a little bit different there. So what would you respond to that in regards to the Sevens there? Because obviously I love my Sevens, and you're definitely getting into your Sevens now after the Olympics. Would you say that's a good entry path into rugby? And on that, would you say that it's financially viable for the future based on what he's just said?
I mean, we have seen quite a few players kind of transition from Rugby Sevens into Rugby Union. I know, once again, sorry, Bunnings NPC, we've seen Regan Ware and also Andrew Newstup also signing for Tasman, I believe it is, if I'm not wrong there. But it's a tough one. The financial side of it, I feel like I'm still very fresh in terms of being able to know exactly how it all works behind the scenes kind of thing, because I normally just watch the games and talk along with the people in the chat while watching those games. Yeah. But I'm hoping that both can run, because I feel like you can't have rugby unions without rugby sevens. You've got to have both of them, as a lot of those players, they do their rugby seven circuit and then now they come back and they play for their union side as well. And we are seeing more and more players kind of transitioning between the two. Caleb Clark for New Zealand ended up going to the Olympics. He didn't even play a game, but now I'm wondering whether or not he will be actually involved with the All Blacks for the rest of this year. I don't believe he's going on that Northern Hemisphere tour. So he kind of committed to the seven side, but now he's missing out in the union side. Yeah. So it does make it very tricky for these players to be able to choose between the two, because it's like, do you go to the Olympics or do you play for the All Blacks? What one is the... I
think I choose to go to the Olympics, but in the same sense, you'd need to really be backing in your talent to be able to get back into that All Blacks team, especially with everything going on. So, like, he made a really big risk, and he actually didn't even make the Olympics. He didn't play in the Olympics. So... No. That's the biggest issue there. But going back to the question at hand, like, you've got to think about, like, obviously, like I say all the time, there's, for example, you start off in Dubai, you've got 2/3 days there, but you've got to be there for realistically a week for training and whatnot. So you've got to pay for the accommodation of all the players, you've got to pay for all the food and drinks and trainers and players and their salaries and, the flights there and back and also just heaps of, there's so much that goes into it in regards to like a ginormous amount that I'm not even mentioning here. And then obviously you do it again the next week. Right, so it's not just 1 week. You go from Dubai and then you go straight to Cape Town. Then you get a month off, but then you have to go to New Zealand and then Australia. And then you get a month off. Then you have to go to Los Angeles and Vancouver. So like it's always traveling and it's always cost. So I understand exactly what they're saying. And I guess maybe the individual teams aren't getting as much money as they possibly need. I guess the sponsorship would have to be larger for teams to profit. Otherwise, they will continue to lose money. I get it. But so I don't really know the situation here in regards to making it into a better situation. But I think that Sevens is growing as a popularity sport, and it is a good pathway, into the sport. Look at, what Germany's doing right now. I have actually seen their numbers go up from that Sevens tournament. That meant nothing, but they did pretty well. And also the likes of like Kenya. Kenya absolutely love their rugby because of how good they are in the Sevens. USA, they actually, when I was in Las Vegas for the Sevens back in 2019, I tell you what, that was an awesome time. And there's packed out stadium there in Nevada, man. It was incredible. And Los Angeles will be the same. So, no, I think Sevens is definitely something that needs to stick around here. But yeah, it is worrying in regards to a lot of those financial aspects that you don't really think about unless you're obviously speaking like we are on a podcast. But let's move into the games that we saw over the weekend.